As we look forward into 2024, the GASB remains very conscious that our stakeholders are stretched for resources. They're stretched for people to work in accounting and finance, and we understand at the GASB that when we amend or add to GAAP, we're putting a strain on those resources. And so we're very conscious of being sure that if we're going to amend GAAP, if we're going to change GAAP, that we've set a high bar, that it's a significant improvement in financial reporting. So as you look at our agenda, it is smaller than it has been in the past. However, we are issuing 2 final standards this year. The first one being on the financial reporting model. This is a project we've worked on for several years now. We do expect to bring this to a vote in the April-May timeframe for 2024. While we have taken governmental funds out, which was the largest potential change in that standard would create, there are some targeted improvements that remain in that standard, such as improving the MD&A, improving consistency of where certain things like the budgetary schedules are included in the financial statement. The second standard that we expect to bring for a vote this year will be later in the summer, and that's a standard on classification and disclosure of certain types of capital assets, where right to use kind of assets or capital assets held for sale will be broken out separately in the note disclosure.
So Joel just mentioned 2 projects that we'll finish in 2024. I'm going to talk about some projects we're still working on in 2024. The first of 2 will have a preliminary review issued in 24. Now remember, those are due process documents that allow you to provide feedback to us on the projects. Of course, the preliminary review means it'll ultimately be followed by an exposure draft before it gets final. So this is your first of 2 chances to give us feedback. One is on infrastructure, which we did some research on capital projects and the board decided capital projects really are functioning as intended, but users do want more information around infrastructure assets, and this project is trying to provide that. The second one's ongoing concern, and the idea that governments typically don't cease to exist. They don't cease to exist as a going concern, so we're trying to broaden that and talk about governments in severe financial stress. Both those will have preliminary reviews this year, and we really hope to get your feedback on both those 2 projects. The last project will be an exposure draft on subsequent events, and that will be happening later on in the year, but that exposure draft will be talking about trying to clarify and provide a little extra information on what is a subsequent event, when do you recognize it, what's the time frame, and provide a little more guidance and clarity on what a subsequent event actually is. So those will be the 3 documents this year. We'll actually have due process documents issued in 2024. Our revenue expense project continues to move forward and make great progress. Most recently, we've been talking about grant accounting and making really good decisions on recognition points related to grants. We continue to move that forward, and we'll continue to make progress on revenue expense recognition. We're also very excited to be issuing a post-implementation review report on the pension standards, GASB 67 and 68. Look forward to that report in the summer of 2024.
With the GASB being founded in 1984, 2024 brings our 40th anniversary. We look forward to commemorating that 40 years throughout 2024 with celebrations and other activities. In addition to the standard-setting topics that we've talked about so far in this video, we have other projects and activities that we're working on that our stakeholders may see, they may not see, they may be more internal to the GASB, but they aren't coming out in the form of standards. For example, we have a new website that has been released and is really making it easier for our stakeholders to access information about the GASB. So we encourage everybody to go to gasb.org and check out the new website. Additionally, we're continuing the podcast that we launched in 2023. We have several episodes planned, so it's called Bridging the Gap. We encourage everybody to click and subscribe to our Bridging the Gap podcast and look forward to some episodes coming out. Also, we're working on ways to utilize technology to improve the efficiency of our research, which is currently done very manually. Finally, we continue work on a financial statement taxonomy that we began in 2023. While this isn't a technical accounting standard, it would be a voluntary data standard that would help governments who are choosing to report their information electronically and help make it machine readable. Other stakeholders might use this financial statement taxonomy, for example, the Securities and Exchange Commission, as they think about implementing the Financial Data Transparency Act, or FDTA.